Hi, everybody. Welcome to Becoming the Message. We're so glad that you're able to join with us today as we reflect on the year that has just been and how we move into a new year. We love doing this at the end of every year, and 2020 is no different. If you haven't been with us before, my name is Lisa, and I'm zooming in from the west coast of Ireland. And this is Jessie, who is in the lovely, sunny South Africa for Christmas. And we're just going to talk through some of the points that we look at the end of a year and how we move into a new year. So we released a reflection tool last year that we're going to talk through the main points of quickly and just talk about, I suppose, how we build one year on top of the next year, and we don't just release everything, but we actually look at what we intentionally want to let go of, and then the things that are really important to hold on to and help build the year that's to come. So at the end of 2020 seems like a really important year to do this, even though it's a little bit of a harder year to do it than maybe other years. So the first point that we always look at, which I think for this year is especially crucial, is what to release and let go. So what are the parts of this year that actually were really challenging, that were difficult, that we need to hold on to what we learned and what we grew in them, but actually how do we release and let go of some of the pain and disappointment, and where are our hope levels at, how has it impacted the way that we're thinking, all of those things. We want to let go of some of the more negative aspects that might be impacting us. So Jess, definitely for 2020, I think this is one that is going to take a little bit of reflection and thinking about, because there's, to be fair, a lot of us that are in this position, certainly me coming into this, of, okay, there's some stuff I need to let go from this year that wasn't helpful in terms of how I'm building.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me anyway, and coming to the end of 2020, I do this reflection tool or a version of it every single year. And it was so great to release it last year. But coming up to this year, I feel a little bit of resistance in myself to do it. I kind of just am like, oh, let's get 2020 over and done with. But actually, it's really important. And I think what's so connected to that is we need to be checking how we're leaving a year in terms of where our hope levels are in the different areas of our lives. And that's such a clear indication of where our beliefs are, what we're believing about what's happened, what we're believing about our future. And the best way to build for the year that's coming is to actually make sure that the things we're believing are the things we've chosen to believe, the things that are really true and authentic for us. And so as you go through this reflection tool, there's a great little section where you can check, where are my hope levels, what am I believing, and what am I choosing to believe, which is really, really important. And it's kind of linked to our second point, which is we then celebrate and give thanks. So after we've released and let go, we think about what was there to celebrate. And I know even in this hard year, even in 2020, there have been things that are really worth celebrating and being thankful for. I know I'm really thankful for the time that I got to spend with family, especially now at the end of year. I'm celebrating finishing a master's this year. And despite other things that have been hard, it's so important to take time to go, what was good, what was really, really good, and celebrate those things.
It's so true. And I think everybody probably grew a little bit in this exact area this year, because I think we had to work a lot harder as a whole people, like a whole humanity, to actually find things to be grateful for, because we didn't have the sun holidays or the natural breaks and things that always bring us enjoyment. So it was like really small things. Like I loved getting flowers, fresh flowers every week, and noticing them grow and what the smell of them looked like, and these really mindful exercises that I would never have done. Or like, you know, what I was eating, what I was putting in my body, like stuff that I never had time to think about before. So the given thanks, I think, at the end of this year, and the things that I'm grateful for are entirely different to probably any other year, and yet in some ways feel actually even more special and more important, because they're in the midst of a challenging year for everybody. So I think it's really good to sit down and give thanks. And I think we've probably been doing that at different points in the year, but definitely at the end of the year, it seems really important. Yeah. And then our third point, and I know we talk about this a lot in Becoming, but it's about how do we actually find our purpose in the next year? What are we looking towards in 2021? And what are we kind of setting our focus and our intention towards? This is definitely a challenging one for me personally coming into this year. I think because this is a natural way I think, a natural way I do things. And a lot of the things I set purpose towards coming into 2020 were things that actually had to go on hold or go on the back burner, or things I wasn't able to complete, and my purpose had to shift. But I wonder if actually that's some of the learning for me this year, is that your purpose can continue. It just mightn't look the way that you thought. So kind of my goals changed. So the way I got towards my purpose definitely changed. But actually, if I reflect on the areas of purpose, even like I know our reflection tool gives really specific areas, but if I look at career or if I look at relationships, or I've intentionally moved towards lots of those areas in tangible ways, but they've looked very different than what I expected at the start of the year. But yet I'm still further into my goals than I was. So I think setting your intention, even in small things, is really important. And it's important in terms of our hope levels to keep us moving towards the next thing. And it's just a healthy way to live, of being focused and being aware of what we want to move towards. How are you setting about doing that for 2021, Jess?
Absolutely. I think it's such an important thing to do, to decide what your focus is and and set your intentions for the year to come. And it's not about like deciding exactly how you're going to get somewhere or even setting really concrete goals. I think it's more about just setting just positive intention for recognizing what areas of your life do you really want to move towards, like what's important to you, and knowing that you can continue to keep moving towards those things. And I know for me, like at the end of 2020, I actually don't really feel like doing that. Like Lisa said, it's almost like so much was taken out of our control last year, but actually it's about recognizing what is in my heart that's still really important, and how can I put that at the forefront as I go into the next year. And just feels really positive to me. And our next and our fourth point on our reflection tool is we go, let's have a look at who your people are for this year. Who have you chosen? And it's kind of about looking into the year ahead and going, who's important? Who do you value? Who's going to be there for you? But also, who are you going to champion? Who are you choosing? And we've just found that that's a really intentional kind of reflective way to look at who's in your life, who's important, how can you value them, and what does that look like going forward, and really appreciating the people that have come alongside you in the previous year, and looking at how you can do the same for others in the year to come.
I'd actually be really interested to see how that's going to change in the year, because I think this year we had to be so intentional with people because you could only see a certain amount of people, or there was a certain amount of people in your bubble. So it really strengthened certain friendships. And I think other friendships it probably had a bit more of an impact on in maybe a more negative way. So I think it's worth looking at, okay, how do I continue to strengthen the friendships that are really important, the relationships that are really important, and how do I develop the ones maybe that took a bit of a hit this year, because definitely it was a much harder year to work on relationships, but it's really worth looking at who are those people in your life. And then our fifth and final point on our reflection tool is speaking it out. So this is something that we really believe in becoming. We believe in talking about the thing that actually matters to us. So looking over what you're thinking about this year, what you're moving towards this year, and talking to somebody about it, bringing somebody into the dreams that are in your heart, into the areas that you're working on, speaking to yourself about it, speaking to your own spirit, your own hope levels, actually getting yourself expectant and ready. And part of sitting down to do the tool is actually part of building up that hope level, building up that expectancy. So we talk about speaking it out.
And actually we had so many amazing stories from people last year who got together in groups and actually done this together, and it really strengthens relationships when you can come alongside each other and let go together the things that you want to let go of, and actually bring people into that journey. So we're really excited for you to download this again. We're going to release a new tool. It's the same tool, but for this specific year. And we'll be emailing that out to all of our subscribers. If you aren't a subscriber yet and you would like the reflection tool, then subscribe on our website and that'll automatically come to you. And we hope that it's a wonderful time of reflection, and we wish you all the best for 2021.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. Sending you lots of love from Becoming.
Happy New Year.